in the upper left. He needs to turn this around.
CJ&2's Hero.
In the bottom right, the only Terran today.
Samsung Galaxy Con Reality.
Up a game in the series, one win away from knocking Hero out and going to that final match. There's Super. I swear, every time that Hot 6 comes out in the beginning, I just have to stop everything and focus on it.
I just focus on it.
It's so compelling.
What I do is I do a quick bow. I kiss the preview screen, and then I go back to my cast.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I often actually take the Hot 6 can that's on my desk and kiss it too.
Me too.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No,
I thought I was weird.
You're busy
but now
kissing
I know
the
I'm
Hot
like
6 can that you don't know that. Yeah, I mean, I give it a little cuddle and then I go back to the cast. No, serious note though. Special thanks to the sponsors for making this event possible.
Yeah.
This map, by the way, this map's made for some very interesting PvTs. It can be tricky for both parties to engage the other. We'll have to see. There's two entrances into the natural for both sides. One requires rocks to be torn down. Sometimes we see the player on that side tear down his own rocks, so he has exit elsewhere onto the map, try to take control, or to even expand beyond those rocks.
Yeah, sometimes you see a tight wall at what's open, and then killing the rocks to open that second pathway to take a safer third. I want to point out that Reality has done a very different style here than what you've shown us in all the previous games today, which is to go for a CC first. Yeah.
This is probably a good mix-up.
Yeah.
This phase of the game. Everybody that's been watching has been noticing the central piece of the medevacs, kind of the centerpiece of a strategy. So to do this is not a bad move. We have what looks to be a little bit of a later nexus here from Hero. And this is going to give Reality an early game lead, but let's see what kind of tech Hero goes for, and when does he actually expand?
Right, and you know, how early does he scout this? Because a late scout on this would obviously really hinder his ability to punish it.
And it looks like that nexus is going to be now on about 26. So he gets that nexus down here. Now note, Command Center now basically done here for the Terran. So there is going to be a lead here for Reality. And the question is, how will he take advantage of this? Is he going to now try to get gas and tech up? Is he going to get more barracks?
Yeah, that's the question here.
We do see his SCV checking around the map. And right now, it's going to be a Twilight tech. Now, we have seen some plays here from Protoss where they get a few Stalkers and expand again, keeping the Blink Stalkers outside the opposing player's base, forcing them to make bunkers.
Yeah. And then just go into a third oftentimes off of that.
Uh-oh.
This is actually the first glimpse, by the way, on Hero seeing the CC first. So he actually made the Twilight Council before he even saw what his opponent was doing. It does deny his opponent's SCV scout, as I think you're about to mention, with those Stalkers.
The probes are just going to be transferred down here now. The gas is almost finished, so we should be having a factory shortly. And there is the blink we were talking about. We'll have some more gateways thrown down here, and then he's going to come out and put some pressure here on the Terran.
Yeah.
Now, rarely does this kill the Terrans, by the way.
Yeah, usually it's
in this phase of the meta. It
right.
Keeps him turtled up, and then Protoss can try to expand again. We do have a robotics bay coming down here now as well, and the Stalkers moving out.
Just scan here, by the way, on that Twilight Council.
Yeah.
Misses the Robo, though.
Yeah, just barely out of vision. Would have helped a lot if he had caught sight of that. And there are the additional gateways, which also Terran hasn't seen but can probably confirm, seeing that the Twilight Council is researching.
Only 2 gates, though. He's not doing it all in with this. Looks like he's going to do that third base like we were talking about. It's pretty tough to actually do an all-in with Blink on this map.
I think it's almost difficult to do an all-in with Blink nowadays.
Yeah, the Mothership Core's vision nerf really hurts. Oh, wow. He's going to really be a lot more careful with that.
Yeah, that would have been really bad if he had lost that. The Mothership Core, it's such a clunky unit, but you really can't afford to lose it.
You really can't. And the Nexus is going to go down here as he's faking this, even putting a pretty forward pile on here. make it look a little bit more realistic. It's actually making a sensor tower, because that's how you know if it's BS or not, man.
Yeah.
That's like, there's like no trick to this. Here's a sensor tower. It's like, you have 4 stalkers, that's it. There's no mystery here anymore. You can actually just salvage the bunkers and be fine.
It's actually a really smart move.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this.
Especially for this map, if you look at it, you can actually tell exactly when the stalkers are going to move in here. I really like this play here from Reality.
TY actually did this once, too, in Pro League. That was like only 2 times I've ever seen this.
It's funny because it makes so much sense, and we haven't seen sensor towers used as much. It goes to show the game is still evolving. But yeah, I mean, look at this map. If you see this coming, this is the easiest way to identify this. You don't have to sit there on your ass with bunkers and play a guessing game. You can actually just check just like this.
Yeah, and then not only that, but do you know how many stalkers are there, but you know which direction they're coming from? Later on in the game, when Zealot run-bys are coming, War Prism harass, you just have all sorts of extra information about this.
No, it's fantastic. And it's in a location that's Protoss is not going to be taking out unless this game's
already
already
over.
over.
Snipe that, no way.
Turret in the bunker there like that. So the starport is almost done now for Reality. I do got to say, I think Hero's not in bad shape, though. You, of course, can tell when the sensor tower's up, so
yeah.
You know, he did not overcommit with stalkers or anything like that. Thermal Lance is just now starting. Combat Shield's about halfway done. And from here, you know, the game should balance out a little bit. We have the additional gateways now coming down. This is the second gateway explosion we see. Now that the third base is up and running, the minerals really start to kick in. Meanwhile, Reality moving out on the map.
He has a lot of Marauders. He's powered up here to 11. Because when you are scared of a possible Blink Stalker attack, you want to make Marauders. So that's the composition he's built here.
Oh my god. Really good blinks.
Yeah, it was really well done. People are getting even better at that.
Yeah. That was like a blink bot.
Well, he needs to do something with these units on the middle of the map, these Marauders. If he just walks home, then he has to accept being behind because he doesn't have a third base. I mean, yeah, he's getting his upgrades, but Hero will do this shortly. He's got Colossi coming out. And that third base is going to have its gases up pretty soon. He's going to have just so much economy from that. I almost think he's waited too long with this. He has to go home, but a very uncomfortable position to be in now. I'll wait for his medevacs at least.
Okay, so we got more warp gates coming up here. The forge is coming down. The question really is, can Reality do the harass he needs to do? This is a different game than the other games we've seen from Reality. You know, he's definitely getting the medevacs out a little bit later on, using them a little bit later on. Hero does have a third base up, different from SOS and Hero in the other games we saw.
Yeah.
So it really is a different beast with just the same harass units from Reality here. I don't know if we're going to have an SCV pull here. It's hard to say. We do have the third base being acquired. But
yeah, now he's finally getting that third base on there.
But it doesn't mean necessarily that it won't be an SCV pull. We don't have any information about a Templar Archives. There's no Templar Archives, right?
No, just
we have none.
That's why Council's finished
okay.
now. The Armory that just finished for Reality leads me to believe that if he is going to do one of these timings, it's going to be a lot later. It's actually going to do it with 2 starports, I think. Second starport's coming up here, and I think he's going to hit it with +2 attack. He has a second engineering bay though, so I could be wrong. We just have to wait and see. There's no way of knowing right now what his plan is.
Well, Terran's going to split his army up and now come back. Looks like from 2 different angles now. And I notice he can actually pick up and go into the main 2. So instead of just attacking in the second like this. So Protoss is going to be on his toes. Meanwhile, Zealot Warpin is on the way to harass down here. I believe there's Vikings there to catch that, unless I'm mistaken. Unless I'm crazy, whatever's in the center right side of the map. I believe we'll catch that Warp Prism. A few nice force fields there, but he does back off. And meanwhile, an attack up here into the natural. Are we going to get a shot of what happens to this Warp Prism over here in the center right? Those are Vikings, and that is going to gut it down.
Yep. It's just one more volley will do it. It's probably not going to be a savior. The Zealots will be, at least. That's one small victory. Actually, no, the Zealots do go down as well.
Nice play there by Reality. I mean, talking about having like a really good read on where your opponent's going to hit you. Reality, though, has to keep his army together here. Runs back now. Time to regroup.
Taking some pretty heavy losses, and this is a really scary Protoss army coming across the map. He does have that double starport production, double reactor starport production, so he's going to have a ton of Vikings coming out 4 at a time right now. And he's already well set to deal with those Colossi. Just need to make sure his ground army is supporting those Vikings as well. This is a really scared Brush army. He's up about 10 supply right now. Composition, though, is really good. He pulls the SCVs.
Pulled, and then this is not a bad time to do it, especially with the Suckers trying to get around that corner. Nice force fields. Snap force fields there at the ramp.
Good reaction there by Reality to pull the SCVs.
Yeah, and good reaction by Hero to get the force fields when he saw the SCVs. Say, wait a minute. I have to back up here. Might have even wanted to actually trap some on the other side there, though it's hard to say. But Terran's got a pretty sizable army here. Okay, he's blinking up that Hero Zealots now coming down and hitting hard. The SCVs are going to come in and try to draw some Colossi fire. The Vikings now firing down on these Colossi. Shots, though, being split on the Colossi.
There's just too many gateway units on the ground. The upgrades are way better here for Hero. And looks like we're going to go to a game number 3. This is just way too much, man.
Yeah, he broke up, and now he's in the production area where you can always kill Terran off.
Yeah, he's just going to kill these units as they come out one by one.
This is really bad here for Reality. There's really not a way to recover here.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be game number 3 here. Map choice going to Reality, by the way, as Hero wins that with a really nice timing attack there. But I got to say, Reality's play was really good.
It was.
I like the sensor tower there.
That was really cool. I like that a lot, too. I think he just lost too many units, like, in the middle of the map, left and right. Like, he was focused really on killing the Warp Prism. He had his defense set up really solid, but his map movement cost him. He lost groups of units like just about 3 or 4 times, losing a chunk of Marauders here, chunk of Marauders there. Eventually your army is just too small to hold that push. That was the problem. His Viking count was fine, but his army was just way too small to support it. He was making 4 Vikings at a time. He had plenty to deal with the Colossi. Just not enough units on the ground.
I gotta say, Hero has looked really good in that last game, but overall today he's been having a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm glad he reacted as well as he did when the sensor tower was up. By the way, the song is sick.
Yeah, it's a good
Big A's done a great job picking the music.
He always has, man.
He's been picking the music ever since I started working and going back at StarCraft 1, but I gotta say every season gets better than the one before. So, Hero against Reality. This is the final game between these two. One of these guys is out. The story ends here.
Yeah, and it's all coming down on Nimbus, our final map here. A map we see very rarely picked by any race in any matchup, probably because it's one of our newer maps.
Okay, the map is Nimbus. The players are Hero and Reality. Who will survive to go on against Super? Let's find out soon here at GOMTV.